racers for the final time in the 3 and 4. Tanner Holmes up the racetrack.
Well, tonight, ladies and gentlemen, we are crossing a cool track off my bucket list. This is my first time here in Sarver, Pennsylvania at the Lernerville Speedway. So the reason I think Lernerville is such an awesome racetrack, well, one, I've seen a lot of really good highlight reels from this place. Number two, this is one of the first tracks that I played on the World of Outlaws game in 2010 with all my buddies, and we had so many races here, flying off the track, throwing sliders, last lap finishes. Bennett and I and a couple other of my friends through the years had some really good times, and then of course played it on iRacing. So as much as I've never been here before, definitely familiar with the place and really happy to cross it off my bucket list tonight. Now I believe it's classified as a 4/10 mile. Got really good banking. You can see it's almost like this reddish clay. No outside wall. You carry a lot of speed here, and it usually curbs up kind of right on the edge, but there's a lot of different lanes. Just talking to guys, like you'll see guys roll the bottom, kind of slide across diamond. I mean, just make speed through the middle. There's a lot of different options here, and there's many ways you can win or lose the race. So we're ready to get after it. It's $25,000 on the line with high limit. We got a full pit area, and this is gonna be a fun midweek money show. Well, just finished up qualifying for Flight A. We have 32 total cars tonight. With high limit, they split us down the middle just because the racetrack will change. And in this place, seems like it especially does. We're already seeing it throughout qualifying. So I was the last car out in the flight, and everyone was kind of running around the top. And it seemed like the lap times were just starting to fall. Well, I went out there, kind of ran, like I ran two very similar laps. My second one was better, had more momentum, just ran a better lap in general. But like I said, as guys were running around the top, they're just starting to spin a little bit more, and that's exactly how I would describe my lap. Like my car balance feels all right, but I'm just not stuck into the racetrack. Like I'm kind of just spinning all the way around. If I can get going a little faster, I still go faster, but I'm still spinning. And then sure enough, Flight B, guys started to go run the top, and then a couple guys kind of dropped way lower, like run almost the bottom of the racetrack, you know, about halfway or a little bit lower than that. And they shot right up to about, I ran a 13.7, a lot of guys were 13.5, 6s, 4s, and then they ran back up to a 13.2. So there was a lot of grip down there. It's a lot shorter, but it's just tough, and that's where, you know, not being here, I was watching what guys were doing, thought I laid down, you know, a decent lap for when I went, but maybe if I could have ran lower, I could have, you know, took advantage of that grip that was still left on the racetrack. But we'll keep an eye, just keep watching, and we're gonna have to come now from, I think, row 3 in a heat race, you know, up next. 6th to 6th in our heat race. Just wasn't able to really get going. Everyone kind of single filed out within a lap or two. The inside for those 2 early heat races was just really good, similar to that same line I was talking about in qualifying. Just shortened up the racetrack. You can kind of drive it. Again, you're not like just sticking the bottom, you're like kind of driving it across. You're like catching the grip and then just carrying momentum, spinning through almost like the slick backstretch and exit at 2 and a little bit down the front stretch. So unfortunately now we're gonna have to move to a B main event. I'd gotten a good start like on the initial firing off down the front stretch. I had cars on my inside, and you know, you're all trying to figure out what to do, you know, going into 1 and 2, and they just kind of got that preferred lane, and then from there I was just trying to run the best laps that I could. So ultimately I feel like we caught ourselves maybe being a little tight getting in the corner, and I snapped a couple times, like just getting in at least in dirty air. So we're gonna just keep working on trying to find our balance. I don't think we're actually far off. It's just hard once you start behind these guys, and we just got to figure out how to be a little bit better for this racetrack, not having, you know, any notes for here.
Wald is just begging right now that he can make the show tonight with Highlander Racing. Checkered flag this time by Marks is going to get the win. Second to Randall. Third will be Farnham. Down the backstretch for the final time. Into 3 and 4. Tanner Holmes up the racetrack for the final transfer spot, and Holmes is going to steal it at the line.
Well, the good news is, guys, we're in the show. The bad news is I feel like I don't look how I want to look in that B main event. I got to 4th, and then I almost spun out and basically almost gave it away. Luckily, I recollected it and got back to 4th. Realistically, I probably shouldn't have transferred there with a mistake like that. So that's frustrating, but anyway, that is what it is now. I feel like we're trying a lot of stuff, and we're just not. I mean, this is a tough racetrack. You can just tell. It's hard to feel like you're in the track. It looks like there's some grip out there, but there's not a lot. And as I told you, the lines are interesting. Like, I made really good speed almost, you know, again, just driving across. There's the horn. Guys are moving all around here. It's going to get really slick for this feature, so we're just trying to prepare for that. We start in the back. We have basically nothing to lose, so this is just a good chance for us to get more laps, add to our Lernerville notebook. Good field of cars. Glad to be in the show. Obviously, we'd like to start way better than dead last, 24th, but we're going to continue to do our job. That's all you can do is focus in and make the most of tonight. So be nice if we can, you know, at least be in the very back, drive by some guys and catch guys early, hopefully when we're all bunched together, and just see what happens. But more importantly, man, it's just been a night where we've been trying to get our car get it to good speed, and we got one more chance here. So early on in the race was definitely a battle, just chaotic from the start. Guys fighting for the bottom of the racetrack, you know, guys floating through the middle. The surface was pretty slick, so a lot of us were just searching, you know, where our car felt good and where we had grip. So with everything taking place, I actually had worked my way up to about 16th, and I wanted to share this clip with you of the race because I thought it was pretty important. Kyle Larson had actually gotten an incident, so he had to go to the back and he was trying to work his way back to the front. And when he kind of came up to me and we got on this green flag run, we all ran, you know, myself and the cars around me were running such a similar pace for, you know, many laps consecutively. And I feel like this just shows how competitive sprint car racing is in this day and age. And you have a racetrack kind of like we had were a little bit more difficult to pass tonight at Lernerville, but I think it just shows how, you know, the guys that are mid-pack are not as far off the leaders as you think. Just track position, dirty air, there's just so many factors. So glad we got to make some of these good laps in the middle part of the race. And then Carson Macedo, who was up front, he actually came around and lapped Kyle, myself, and a few other cars. And at that point, our race was pretty much over, but definitely trying to take in, you know, each lap around the racetrack and just trying to figure out how to be better throughout this main event. Well, as I walk up here, I'll tell you guys this, Lernerville Speedway, it's a really cool, not just racetrack, really cool facility. I was impressed tonight. I mean, I feel like maybe I gotta watch it back. You know, sometimes the racing up front and the racing in the back isn't always the same. Felt like it was a little bit more difficult to pass tonight than maybe what it normally can be. Here's the surface. They've kind of been out there with a little bit of equipment, but you can tell that it's just really, really hard packed. A little bit of grip on the bottom, and that grip was kind of the place to be most of the night. The top just, I feel like, pushed up, not too far, but it just pushed up too far too quick. Like, it just needed a little bit more. Like, I wish it would have started maybe more down here, and then, you know, maybe as the night went on, had some more grip to lean on that was a little bit thicker, but it just got right to the edge. And off of 2, it pushed off the top. Like I said, no, not claiming to be a track prep expert, just little things that you pick up on. I always say racers are the best race day track prep guys. They don't really know what to tell you maybe during the week what to do and how to get it ready, but on race day they have some good input. For us, just kind of survive the feature. I feel like we made a lot of changes to our car, but we still never made big gains. I mean, we were doing crazy adjustments. Spacing, we messed with our shocks. Like, we really just tried to change the attitude of the car. And one thing I will say, so early on I was kind of just going where guys, I mean, we were all kind of just rolling around. I mean, pretty slowly because it was super slick. And on the restarts, like, I just kind of tried to, like, you know, carry momentum, and I had gotten up to about maybe 1.15th, 16th, missed a couple crashes, so I got some freebies, maybe got a guy or two on starts. The highlight of my race, though, where I really goes to say, like, I don't think our car was terrible, like, but I don't think we were great. Larson had went to the back and he was coming through the field and he was behind us for maybe, I feel like 8-ish laps. Like, I saw his nose off of turn 4 and I kept running and he didn't just blow right by us. Like, and that kind of also showed how tough the track was to pass. So track position was huge. If we would have maybe started way closer to the front, I think, you know, we definitely would have had a better result. I started even running through the middle and he couldn't go by me on the bottom. So, like, I moved around a little bit and he didn't go right by, and then eventually I moved around a little more and he did sneak on by, but I still think him, myself, a couple other guys, we all got lapped by Macedo. So just kind of an interesting race, but it goes to show, even, you know, I mean, Kyle's the most talented guy we've all ever raced against, but and obviously you have good and bad nights, and I don't even know what happened to send him to the back, but it goes to show how tough sprint car racing is right now. I mean, he went to the back and it wasn't like he just blew through the field. So yeah, anyway, that just goes to show how clean air and dirty air, and man, it's all so important in today's wing sprint car racing world. But Lernerville Speedway, it was cool being here. Definitely want to come back. Amazing facility, crazy. The Western PA fans are nuts. I know Central PA fans are nuts, but man, everyone that showed up tonight definitely, man, so supportive, and we just really appreciate it. So wasn't the night we wanted, wasn't the results we wanted, but glad that we made the show. That's key to even just get, like, for our team, that start money and just get those valuable laps. And that's why I even stayed out there after I got lapped, just to try to work on the little things and take advantage of every single lap to see if there's a way we can find stuff to be better and build our notebook at places I have never been before. And that's one of the hardest things, is show up to places you haven't been and be fast right out of the gate. So we're going to keep working on it, but Lernerville, we will definitely be back. See you guys in the next one. Thanks for hanging out with us, hanging out with the team. It was a little bit of a chaotic night. Never like having to run a B, never like having to get in the main event on the last lap of a B, but we pulled one out of the hat, and we made a small charge from 24th to 16th in the feature, I believe. See you guys in the next one. Deuces.